Good
me
job,
falch.
Helen. Wow, look at that.
I know. It's like a miracle. I feel like I'm in Fatima and there's an apparition, you know. Kate Falcha, welcome to Irish Granny Helen. Welcome to Gerald from TarotStache. If this looks a little, oh my God. Every time I up my game, you one up me. I can't do that.
I'm not trying to make it a competition.
Oh my God. It doesn't rain confetti at my house.
Well, but does it rain?
We had 5.5 weeks of rain, Gerald.
I know. That's ridiculous.
It was getting to the point where I was just seriously thinking of having DoorDash delivered to my bed. I've never ordered anything by DoorDash, but I know what it is. So anyway, how you doing?
I am hanging in there. I was telling Irish Granny Helen backstage.
Thank you for reminding me.
You're welcome. That I have won my battle with the cold. Everybody gets one. I get one once a year. And so I won. I'm on the other side of it. I don't spend as much time coughing, which is delightful because, I don't know if you've ever coughed a lot when you've been sick, but man, it's tough. But it allows me to get my knitting done.
Well, I guess that's true. I don't know. I tend to be a gigantic baby, and I had an excuse to go to bed and feel sorry for myself.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with that because I am a person who, when my body says I need to sleep, I go, okay.
So what do? Do you listen to podcasts or books on tape, or do you watch really bad TV?
No, I sleep.
You really do sleep. I will vegetate in front of the television.
Yeah, I sleep, and I will also, if when I'm in bed, okay, here's my favorite binge show. I watch The Repair Shop, which is a BBC show where people bring in broken pieces from their family history, and people are using artists and crafts to repair them. Love that. It makes me ridiculous.
I think I've seen it. Or like he finds things on the corner sitting on the sidewalk and takes it home and redoes the whole thing.
That's a different show, but I know the one you're talking about.
Okay.
But this is the one where people come into the barn and they have the teddy bear ladies, and then they have the woodworkers, then they have I can't remember what they call the person who, the hortologist, the clockmaker.
The clock person, yeah.
Yes. And they have painting restoration and upholstery, and Susie does leather work, and it's very soothing to me. There's something very nostalgic and connects me to my ancestors, thinking about, wow, this cookbook from this kid's great grandmother that has her handwriting in the corner is so important, and I love that. It's just it makes
there are so many skills that we've lost. My husband tends to be, he's in science, but he's a musician. It's a challenge to live up to expectations, I'll tell you what. But he has all these hobbies, and he has taught himself. Oh, somebody just popped up. Hang on.
Tapioca thievery. Hello.
Oh, hello. This is what I don't do. I can't see. So anyway, he does a lot of handiwork, by himself, like woodworking and finishing. He's made bowls, and he built an addition onto our house years ago. He just does anything. Yeah. And I've taken to occasionally watching this show on YouTube of this young couple. It started out with just the guy, and he's Canadian. And he bought a decrepit, falling apart, abandoned house on a teeny tiny island off the coast of Nova Scotia. And I stumbled on this one day, and it was kind of interesting in a horrified way because the house was just a disaster, right? So little by little, he started fixing things. Then he met this young woman, and they got married.
Oh.
And they're now expecting a baby. And it seems like time is maybe compressed a little bit. I'm not exactly sure, but I watched them fix this house up on the inside, and it's kind of taken me down memory lane because my house has been a constant construction site for a very long time. Somebody else, Awesomeness. And that's a good
Awesomeness.
name. That's a good name.
Yes, it
yes,
is.
go pick up your needles. Oh, we should talk about needles, right? I mean, that is why.
Well, finish your thought about that show.
Pardon me?
Finish your thought about that show.
Just that I watch it. I find it very soothing. I watched them yesterday. My heart went out to her. She found an old cast iron bathtub with legs, and they hauled it from the mainland. So they found it at some, recycling place or something, and they had to get it into their vehicle, which stays on the mainland, which is an old ambulance. So he put the bathtub in the ambulance, take it to the dock. He's got a couple of friends who help him because it's cast iron. Put it into the boat, the big boat, go to the other boat, get that to the house, and haul it all the way in. And right before they got into the door, they broke one of the legs.
Oh no!
But they handled it. They're very patient because I would have been losing my mind at that point. Yeah. But they installed this bath, and they installed a shower, a sink, and I watched the guy how he did it. And it just brought me down memory lane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, doesn't that remind you of the book The Secret Garden, where in the old English mansion house, there's all these rooms that have all their original furnishing and people's possessions in the drawers, and I just find that fascinating, like King Tut.
Yeah, and what I think is really interesting, not only is it the furniture and the ornamentation, the vases and the practical things, but they're also valuing some of the ephemera, which is beautiful. The idea of a wedding album,
letters, diaries,
and oh my God, there was somebody I was watching. Excuse my language. Oh my goodness!
What did you say?
I said, "Oh my God."
Oh, that's nothing.
Oh my goodness.
No.
They actually had kids brought in their father's hat from military service in England, and it was filled with the letters that he and his wife wrote to each other.
Oh God!
It was. I mean, this thing was this big, and it was filled with letters. And I'm like, that is just freaking.
We're not leaving a legacy for generations who come after us because nobody writes anymore. Nobody writes letters.
We're leaving a legacy, but differently.
What legacy?
There's this weird thing called YouTube where you put up a video.
The technology is going to change. Mark my word. I have old phones with photographs that I'm never going to be able to see again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's unfortunate. But there's something about holding a letter and looking at somebody's handwriting.
I agree.
I try to write to my grandchildren because I feel like that's all they'll have. That's all I'm leaving them.
My book of shadows. I always think this is fun. My book of shadows. I just write in cursive, so nobody can read it.
Fewer than 2% of kids learn cursive now.
Yeah,
isn't that remarkable?
That's
so hand painted wallpaper.
Ooh, yeah.
William Morris. Do you know William Morris?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that stuff. I was intended to be a rich person. I don't know what happened. Okay, show and tell. What are you making?
Yes, I am making a hat. This is a hat.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
This is it's the Noro yarn. So the Noro yarn is doing the color change. And what's funny is I had a request to knit a couple of hats, which I have completed. I have this hat.
Love the colors. Love the colors.
And I have this hat.
Very nice. That person's got a slightly bigger head.
Yes.
Cone head.
Well, but then I also knit this hat. And so what I'm doing is it's the same style. I'm just folding it up. So there's multiple layers.
Yeah.
And this one is, I have the reverse stockinette.
Oh, I see that. It's beautiful, though. I absolutely love it.
And so it's easy. I was just using size 8 needle, 16-inch circular needles, casting on 80 stitches, knit 2, purl 2, rib for the amount of inches that you want. Well, and I started one, and I knit, and this is big enough for both Jeffrey and I's head.
I was going to say, I feel so bad for that person. What's wrong with them?
Yeah. Well, and so what I did is instead of unwinding it, I'm knitting right from it onto.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
I hope to be early next week to be shipping the hats out.
Oh, that's wonderful. Are you doing it for people who are watching?
I'm doing it for people who may be watching.
Oh, okay. But people that you know. Well, I too am doing a hat.
Yay.
It looks a little small, but it's for a child. It's for a young child. But that's not the piece of resistance. Hold on here.
Ooh, kids.
Show you. Haven't sewn it together yet because I just now steamed down the curled up thing. But this is the larger size.
Very nice.
It turned out, thank you. And I think this might fit her better. I don't look slightly bigger. This is a size 14. Yeah, I know. I just give up. That's what I've been working on. And, I really worked on it frantically last week. And I kept saying, Gerald's going to ask me, I have to get this done. Because I'd made no progress. I'd only been partway through part 1.
Yeah.
And just to prove, both halves. Check
there
it
you
out.
go. Yes.
So I did I did 2 whole ones basically because I was barely started. I was making no progress at all. You know how you go through a period of time where you just can't even, you develop an allergy to your needles? I can't deal.
Or you develop a cough and you spend 2 weeks in bed.
Well, you have to devote your attention to something more important, like 90 Day Fiance, right?
Oh, or something like that.
Something like that.
And that's actually something, when I'm not feeling well, I'm not crafting. I'm a person who I think the way I'm feeling is embedded into the piece that I'm working on.
Yeah. No. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I wasn't going to be knitting when I was not feeling well. And I did knit periodically because you know how it is. Sometimes you actually feel good. And
on a rare occasion,
yeah. But then you're vertical for like 45 minutes, and then it's like, wow, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I feel like that every day, Gerald.
No.
So I have a friend who believes you should never cook when you're in a bad mood because it affects the food, and you can make people sick. And she really believes it. You can make people sick if you cook when you're not in a good frame of mind. In which case, my entire family would already be dead because I hate to cook, and I cook 3 meals a day for 7 people for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if I never cook again, it will be too soon. It is just an ordeal for me. Spiders make crazy webs. Is that true?
I don't know, tapioca thievery. That's an interesting question. And by the way, awesomeness, I don't know what you're working on. You need to let us know.
Yes, and You might have noticed, I have to brag, when I advertised that this was going to happen and be alive, which, did you hear that?
I know.
I created that picture, and that was something to be remarked upon because it took forever. But I wanted to share the books. I think I might have shown them before, but I want to be sure people are aware. So if you're starting to knit, this book is the best book. It came out before the big eruption of cell phones and the real, massive use of YouTube how-tos. And she does a fabulous job of explaining step by step by step how to read a pattern. I learned how to knit. I never learned how to read a pattern, so I couldn't make anything. That's like a foreign language, right? And then I want to share, I had a Yorkie for 18 years. She died a couple of years ago. And this picture always reminded me of her, and it's why I bought this book, but I made her most of the sweaters in this book.
I love that.
Isn't that cute?
So we can see the title.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
Knitting for Dogs. Yes.
And I'll show you one of my favorite dog sweaters in here. And there's some very, very basic ones. And then there are some pretty complicated ones. Like this is like a houndstooth, pardon the pun, a houndstooth pattern. And I just was not up to the challenge. But this particular sweater here, I made 6 gazillion of these, and I worked out a trade with the groomer, small town. So I'd bring in sweaters and she'd sell them, and she'd pay for my dog, grooming.
I love that.
And it worked out great. So see these little balls on it?
Aww.
Isn't that the cutest thing in the world? And, you can get really creative with the color combinations. This is a little dark, but I did all sorts. Well, this looks like my little dog. It's so sad. Then another good one is this one. A little more tasteful. Dress Your Dog.
I love it.
And also Canine Couture.
Ooh, okay.
So, for every level of hierarchy, for every social caste, we have a different book.
And I was very impressed with the picture. You should be very pleased with yourself.
Thank you. I'm not going to tell you how much effort that took.
It doesn't matter. The results are lovely.
Thank you. So, Gerald, you had an idea. Stop the presses. No, you had an idea for what to talk about today.
Well, one of the things that when you and I talked last, by the way, awesomeness. Terry McMillan is here. Quilts and Crochets.
I'm so glad you're doing this because I can't.
Okay. And Tapioca Thievery says they've seen pictures of the crazy spider webs. And apparently NASA did a study with the spiders. Awesomeness is working.
Isn't that interesting?
I'm working on learning to make copper jewelry.
Oh, nice.
And Awesomeness loves the doggy sweaters. I never knit my dogs a sweater. I was just like going, first of all, I will hold a grudge if I knit something and the dog wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they're so ungrateful. What kind of a dog do you have?
We had a boxer, and we had a hound, a Rhodesian Ridgeback mix.
So you go for those large, vicious dogs.
Oh yeah. Boxers are vicious, right?
But you go for the bigger dogs.
I like a bigger dog. I do. Pocket-sized dogs are just appetizers. Come from YouTube. I said it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have any offense to that. For me, it's more like, an accessory.
Yes.
Paris Hilton and I share a lot in common.
Because you buy the bag to carry the dog in.
I actually do have a bag for a small dog, but because we've had a series of small dogs. We have small dogs now, but they're not tiny like that. And my Yorkie, I have never ascribe to buying dogs from a, what do you call it, a kennel. Yeah, because they present themselves as a family, you know, but I searched and searched and searched, and I could not find like a real Yorkie. I didn't want a Yorkie with something else. I wanted a real Yorkie, but I didn't care about bloodlines and all that nonsense. And I stumbled on a woman who did like a home,
Oh, yeah.
not breeder, is that the right word? And she had this little dog that they were getting rid of. It was 4 months old, which is old to be selling a puppy, right? But they decided not to keep her. Her parents had, I don't know, this illustrious bloodline, both of them. But she came out wrong. She was a little bit too big, you know, a little too sturdy. This dog is just very petite and delicate. And my dog was 100% Yorkie, and she looked like a Yorkie, but she was solid, which people don't want, right? And her hair, if you look at this dog's hair, it's kind of feathery and light, and if you look at them in a like the every year on Thanksgiving when they do the dog show, the Yorkie always has silvery colored hair that's like a curtain on both sides, go all the way to the floor, right? That's the standard that they want. Well, my poor little dog had black and brown hair that was kind of cottony. I mean, she had some of the Yorkie wispiness, but she had too much kind of cottony hair. So they didn't want her because she was a reject. And I got her extremely inexpensively. And so I thought, well, indulged myself, you know, and I got her. And I'm really glad I did, but I do think it can be problematic.
It can be. It can be. So, but yeah, last time when we were together, we had talked about there's so much going on in the world. You know, I'm going to pause there for a second. Everybody take a sip. How we had talked about backstage, we were talking about how we process this. How do we process all of this information? And you know, and so we were tossing around some ideas, and it's just like, if you wanted to talk about this during a live, I would be happy to do that. And by the way, you know, here, I'll do this thing. This is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really, I also, you know, part of this is a joke, but it's really hard to process everything that's going on in the world.
I know.
And strong people know when they need to ask for help, and they ask a professional for help with processing. This is a good thing. This is smart. This is really, really smart. So that's my hard sell. If you need help, go get it.
Well, you know, people are not always good with uncertainty.
No.
And change.
Correct.
And in the moment, we're in a place of really radical uncertainty. This is new for us. I mean, it's not new in the history of the world, but it's new for us. And so people often benefit from the support that you can get, you know, from therapy. I'm a true believer in getting all the help that you can possibly use. It's a good thing. And sometimes the people in your life, you know, your family and friends, they're not the best ones to go to because they're freaking out too.
Yes. Well, and that being said, a good therapist has a therapist.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Oh.
And I mean, and so I think, you know, so this idea about how to process all of this stuff that's going on, you know, if I were to actually give a bit of advice, it's limit the amount of information that you're taking in or that you're exposed to, and make sure it's a reliable source to be able to get the information.
Yeah, it's important that you're not being misled. And if you're going to stress out, you want to stress out about something that's true.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. That is such a good point, because there's a lot of, I find there's a lot of bait and switch going on, where you see a commercial and it's like it has nothing to do with the actual news story.
I know what you're talking about. Like the headlines on the YouTube videos, and you're thinking you're going to be watching a video about one thing, and it's just to get your attention.
Yep.
And I get really mad because I'll watch all the way to the end, waiting for this big breaking news thing, and there is none.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me really angry. It's a waste of time. They should just be honest.
Yes. Well, and Awesomeness said, I like to verbally puke what I'm digesting these days, while lots of people have their heads in the sand. I think the idea of knowing that you need to let it out, I am an out loud processor. And so not everybody is an out loud processor.
Well, you're very good about talking about feelings.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And so one of the things that I have found with my husband is he's an internal processor.
Hey, listen, Gerald.
Yeah.
That's a whole other video.
Well, and here's the thing, Jeffrey, I learned early on in our relationship that when I've asked him something, it's in the brain, it's moving around, it's working, and he'll answer the question that I asked him 2 weeks later, and I have forgotten the question, and then he'll remind me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. But my point is I'm trying to learn from myself, especially these times, when I need to have that out loud processing time, and I say, I just need to out loud process or just be angry for a while. Let me know when you're ready for me to be able to do that.
Well, if you need somebody to provide a venting hole or whatever you want to call it, let me know, because
you have offered
I'm an out loud person too. In fact, my channel is pretty much me ranting and raving about things that I'm concerned about, because my family no longer wanted to hear about it. And it's not that they aren't aware. It's not that they're not paying attention, but they have small children, they're young, they can't take as much as I can take. Mm-hmm. Part of that, I believe, some of us, okay, let me back up. They say that very often people who have had trauma in their background end up being therapists and end up being psychic, because they have tuned in. They've been forced early on to face reality, face difficult situations. When you're a child and you learn that bad things can happen, you don't spend the rest of your life in denial. Right? So my way of coping with things is to talk about it and get it out of my system. So I'll often have friends on my channel and, we'll vent. I'm sure it's hard for some people to listen to, because a lot of people can only take so much. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I would rather face it, name it, talk about it, and move on, right?
Yes.
And I just did a video that I have not put up yet, but it's how to cope in these difficult times based on Stoic philosophy. Now, it's not philosophy. It's very straightforward. Like, if you feel this way, this is how you cope. It's very straightforward and simple, but it's based on the premise that the Stoics believed we're here for a purpose. We're here for more than just hee-haw, having a good time. Mm-hmm. And life is supposed to be difficult. There's no such thing as any period of time in the history of the human race that hasn't been difficult. Everybody faces difficulties.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Why do you suppose that is? It's because it strengthens you. It's like when you are hardening steel, it has to go through the fire.
Yes.
Challenges give us starch in our spine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we learn. The Stoics were huge believers in every problem person, every awful thing is a challenge for us to decide how are we going to react. We can't control other people.
Yeah.
We control how we respond to them.
That's very true. And that is a really good thing to keep in mind for all of the stuff that's going on in the world. I do like how, and this is something is really important in my opinion. You have to experience what you're feeling in order to be able to get through those feelings. Then you can start to look at facts and information and figure out what's the next right step to take. What can I do? Because when emotions are a beautiful thing for humans. Emotions are messy.
Well, they're a survival tool.
Absolutely.
People have the mistaken notion, and I do blame pop culture therapists. People have this mistaken notion that this one thing that's true, that thought can create, that's true. But there's a big step in the middle that is ignored, and they're afraid to have negative thoughts or negative emotions because they're afraid they're going to make it worse. So, I don't want to have fear because then I'm adding to the fear. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And you have to have intention and you have to have action.
Yes.
It's normal to feel whatever it is you feel, but then you've got to decide what the next step is. You can choose to ignore it and compartmentalize it, and it will fester.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't evolve.
Right.
You can face it and then at that point decide, depending on the situation, what you're going to do with it. Right now, we're being faced by a lot of really egregious violations against the well-being of many, many people in very many ways, nationally and internationally. It's pretty horrifying, but it's not unusual in the history of humankind.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. Yet at the same time, we need to be aware of the history of the world so that we can notice how we can approach it, how we can approach making change, and how we can approach managing this. I also it's this thing. People who you need to be, I can't remember what I was reading. I think it was Brene Brown, Strong Ground, Firm Ground, her newest book, talking about the importance of being a realistic optimist. There are people who, she referenced someone who they were looking and was a concentration camp survivor or a
Viktor Frankl.
It wasn't Viktor Frankl, but it was a prisoner of war survivor. And the question is like, who survives? It's the people who are realistic and aware, yet they are choosing to be optimistic. And
you can't guarantee survival or success based on your choice of attitude, but what you can guarantee is what kind of a person you are inside, how you adjust your attitude. Yes. That's the thing, we keep. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
A little bit, yes. What was that?
I have no idea. It wasn't in this room. I have no idea.
Okay.
I was going to say, I don't even know what I was going to say. I was going to say, that we can't really affect the outcome very much about much of anything, but we can determine what kind of person we are inside by how we react. And that's really what matters.
Yes.
What was it? I have no idea. That was the ghost in the machine.
But it's also that idea of there's this importance of understanding what is going on and then choosing where we put our energy and our intention. Because if we live, somebody had mentioned earlier about having people having their head in the sands. And yes, there are some people with that, and that is one way to cope. It's not really a cope; it's called an avoidance. But we have to notice what's going on in the environment, and then be able to choose what energy we bring forward. And I like how you said who we are on the inside.
What kind of person do you want to be? You know, one of the reasons for the kind of darkness that we see is that it is a contrast to the light. You know, you see what you don't want to be. You see how you don't want to act. You see how you don't want to treat people.
Yes.
And then you adjust yourself accordingly.
Yes. There was a period about a month or so ago, and you know, Helen has told me that if I'm struggling, I can reach out to her and to chat. Well, I was doing a deep dive into what was going on in the global world with the wars and the politics.
It's a quagmire.
Yeah, the quagmire. And I have to tell you, I was reading this information, and I got about halfway in, and I just got so overwhelmed with emotion. I had to stop. I had to actually, I cried because my question was, why is this happening? Why?
Well, see, the Stoic philosophy is, and I'm not an expert, I've just been reading about it. That's the wrong question.
What's the different question?
It's not why it's happening. It's what can I do about it? How do I react to it?
Yeah.
It's like this book I've been doing about UFOs. And so, you know, everybody debates what planet, what galaxy, what is their purpose? Are they from another dimension? You know, there's that whole kind of material, three-dimensional interpretation of it. And there's a guy, Jacques Vallée, who for a very long time has said that he thinks it's the same thing. It's related to Marian apparitions, you know, the Blessed Mother appearing at Fatima and Lourdes and Medjugorje. Okay. Also related to things like the sightings of fairies and gnomes and gods and goddesses flying in chariots in India. You know, all of these different stories are really related. They're not similar, but they serve the same purpose. The question is not what are they or who are they? The question is, why are they? And his theory is, it's complicated. I'm not very good at explaining it, but there's this method of getting people to learn that's a B.F. Skinner method. I don't know if that rings a bell.
Like
Skinner boxes. Yeah, they were training rats, and they discovered that it's even more true for humans that if you want us to learn something, you teach it periodically. You keep returning and teaching it again, but you make the return period unpredictable. So you never know when you're going to be presented again with the lesson. And you make it unpredictable as how long it lasts.
Okay.
And for some reason that helps to solidify the information. And so his theory basically is they're repeating it over and over throughout human history. Time has no meaning. It seems like a long time to us. It's irrelevant, right? And they're trying very hard to elevate that they are some sort of advanced creation, being, entity. I don't know what. But their goal is to help us to elevate our consciousness, to understand reality and advance in order to join them in the broader universe. And so they appeal to our ability to understand on our level. So when people were a little bit more superstitious and primitive, they got gods and goddesses and glowing chariots. And then when people were very religious, they saw the Blessed Mother. Now we're very technological and conspiratorial. So we see little green men, actually gray men, and flying things, right? But the purpose, it's irrelevant, really. The wrong question is, who are they? The right question is, why are they appearing? Yeah, and they're conditioning us. It's Skinnerian conditioning. They're conditioning us to try to elevate our understanding of consciousness.
Yeah.
And that just, that blew my mind.
I'm thinking multiple things. One, I don't know if you've seen the movie The Matrix.
No.
Okay.
I've tried to watch it 3 times, and each time I got to the same place, and I had to give up. It didn't do it for me. I got 5 minutes in and I was like, I can't handle this. Not into science fiction.
Okay. But there's a point where, spoiler alert, the architect is they're creating a world for the humans who are essentially batteries. The Matrix, originally it was perfect, but it failed miserably. It had to have flaws, and there had to be struggle for the humans to fully engage in it. So it's the idea of that.
Oh, the song, The Fifth Dimension. I love that song.
Well, I also wonder so these times when these things happen, that, the gods show up, we see these apparitions, UFOs or other stuff. Are those actually archetypes that we're experiencing? That's
a theory. I mean, nobody knows, right? But that's a theory. They're Jungian archetypes, and they're kind of tailored for the time and place, for the culture and the time period. It's an interesting theory. I mean, it's as good a theory as anything else. But that's also how the Stoics looked at problems in life. It's not about, why me? Why are we going through this? Why are those people suffering? That's not what it's about at all. It's, what lesson am I supposed to be learning?
Yeah. What am I supposed to be doing with this?
And for other people. They're very much based on doing good works every day, doing compassionate good works for the larger population every day that you can, making decisions from a place of caring.
Yes.
People hear stoic, and they have this idea of a cold, unemotional person. Somebody who is a stoic is kind of stiff and unreactive. And that's really not what their philosophy was about at all. I don't know how that came about.
I'm going to do something that's probably going to annoy you. But I'm going to remind people, Helen has a whole bunch of videos about Stoicism. You can search her channel and find out about those.
That doesn't annoy me. Thanks.
I'm doing the commercial for you, Helen. So.
Thank you. I'll tell you what really annoys me. I'll tell you, people don't get divorced over big, gigantic things. They get divorced over that spoon that my husband leaves on the counter twice a day after he feeds the dog. I swear to God, Gerald, he puts it on the counter right above the dishwasher twice a day. And I try to be good about it. I rinse it. I put it in the dishwasher. I think, okay, I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to be the better person. I'm not going to say anything. And after a few days, I'm like, and I say something, and he kind of laughs, Oh my God, cause for divorce. That's it right there in a nutshell. I swear. The video thing didn't upset me.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's that does, think, it talks to me about that processing. How do we process this stuff that doesn't line up with our expectations? And I'm not a person who says, well, you should go into retreat, you should go into meditation, deep meditation, and find out why this is bothering you. You don't have to do that. Sometimes you can. And that being said, if that's what you need to do, great, go do it.
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. But the Buddhists say you have to completely let go of all expectation.
Yes. And so I think this idea of when I'm stuck with processing something, part of me goes, well, you first have to recognize that you're stuck processing it. You have to recognize that you're, as my friend medium Betsy Palmer says, when you're twirling and you're just spiraling, and sometimes I go, oh crap! This is the third day in a row I have been obsessed about this news story, trying to find out what's going on about it. And I have to go, press pause, stop, because that's not helping. It's just repeating. It's that insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Well, they say that if you are really upset by something, and I think we're all going through this right now. So this is why I made that video. And I need the advice more than anybody. So I'm not an expert about this at all. But what I read is that you see something really egregious, and it really upsets you, and you feel angry and you stew about it. You're doing more harm than good. You have to make a choice. How am I going to react to this? What is my response to this? And it's different for everybody.
And I think that's really smart. There is a moment of, you do need to stew on it a little bit.
Yeah, you have to process it.
You have to process it.
Yeah.
And that processing, some people take, a long time to process a spoon being left on a counter above.
No, I like to stew about it, and I'm making it worse.
Okay. And so then there's that idea is being willing to go, all right, I've done this long enough and I don't know what to do with it, or this is what I'm going to do about it. And sometimes, you've got to have your community to help you. I like to surround myself with people who have a different opinion.
Yeah, it helps to get a different perspective. It really does.
Yes. And sometimes I have had friends call me and go, okay, tell me I'm stupid. And
well, if you insist.
Yes. Well, and I do that. Well, yeah, if you want. And then it's like, what do you need me to do? Do you want me to tell you what I heard you say? Or do you want me to solve this for you? Those are two very different things.
Yeah. Or are you just looking for a sympathetic ear?
Yeah. And this is what I imagine the adults who have children around them. And when the children are stuck in their twirling, sometimes the adult can go, okay, hang on a second. Why don't you go get a drink of water and then come back and tell me what's going on? And part of that is a technique because I know for me, a lot of times I just need to go for a freaking walk because I'm so caught up in here. I'm not here and I'm not in the rest of my body.
It's harder when they get older because you have to learn that they have agency over their own issues.
Yes.
And it's when they're little, you do tell them what to do. To a certain extent, somebody has to because they don't have any parameters. They have no boundaries, which actually I love to critique other people's parenting. And you see a lot of this today. You see a lot of failure to create boundaries. But it gets to be a point where they're on their own. They have to make their own decisions. It's especially difficult, when your children are 40. They're not children, they're adults. But the temptation is, well, I'm the mom.
Well, yes. And isn't that what I think that is a privilege that comes with being the mom? You
have to be, if you're being responsible, a mother, you have to know when to back off.
Well, of course. And guess what? Guess how you learn when to back off? You follow your intuition, and you make a lot of mistakes, and you end up arguing with the kids.
Yeah. Well, you have to compartmentalize. I think you get to the point where you see the mistakes being made, or you see the poor choices, and you just have to zip it and do something else.
I did some postgraduate study work in Gestalt therapy, and my mentor actually said something about parenting that I thought was fascinating. It doesn't matter the method of parenting. What matters is that it is consistent, so the child knows the boundaries and the areas that they are going to experience, so they can develop their own themselves. Because it's when one parent says this and the other parent says something different, the kid has no structure. And that was something that I was just like going, I never really thought about that. Because for me, that structure is very important. When I have a structure, I know how to go about my day.
Well, kids need predictability.
Absolutely.
They need to know, if this, then that. Has to be consistent. Absolutely. And that's really hard as parents. It's really hard to do.
It is.
And it's really hard as a crotchety old lady who's had a lot of kids. It's very hard for me sometimes to watch children. Now I'm going to sound like I'm 1,000 years old. Nobody's teaching anybody manners. And I think that the perfect example of that was Elon Musk's child wiping his snot on the president's desk. If that had been my child, I would have been mortified. And he's just oblivious. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of just low expectations. Sort of primate behavior.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I know from having been a supervisor, I found it really important for me to be very clear about the expectations up front, what is appropriate and what's not appropriate at work. And I know that sounds all, what's appropriate behavior and what's not appropriate behavior. Well, guess what? What was really helpful with that is for people who didn't always have that in their life. I just like going, okay, let's look at this. Here's what the expectation is. Here's what you did. Where does that fall in that expectation?
I think it's tough on young people who've never had boundaries set. I was a very strict mother. We'd go to the grocery store, and before we ever got out of the car, I'd say, okay, we're going to go into the store. You hold on to that side of the cart. You hold on to that side of the cart. You don't let go in on the side. Ask you to go get something. And that was the big treat. Can you go get that thing, on the low? Yeah. And if you guys really behave and you really cooperate, I might buy you a treat. And I didn't do it every time, because then they demanded and expected, right? So usually what I would get them when we got up to the cash register, I'd get them, those little Archie comic books.
Oh, yes.
Betty and Veronica. I know they're horrible, but they love those stupid things.
Of course.
But they always behaved. They were almost, I rarely had a bad experience in public after about 2 years old.
Yeah. What was really interesting for me as a supervisor, having set up the expectations and what, here's the expectation, and here's how we approach it. I use that as an opportunity to use it as a training and as a skill building tool, because I saw somebody doing this, and this is in their monthly meetings, but the idea of this is like going, I heard you working with this customer. I've been cooking things to eat, if no power in Texas, waffles now.
Okay, I had a very crucial question. How do you heat them up if there's no power?
Do you know that waffles are just pancakes with 6 packs?
I've never heard that. All kidding aside, is it the same kind of batter?
Pretty much.
Really? Oh,
Pretty much.
It's hilarious.
But so what was really interesting is when you set up this performance, and I'm catching people doing the right things, I'm going, you did this really nicely. And it's like going, okay, you have these boundaries with that. What more could you have done to really exceed that person's expectations, that customer expectations? And they didn't think of it like that. It's just like going, here's your bare minimum. But what ideas do you have to take it to that next level? And what's really interesting is oftentimes when people would say, well, I could have done this, or I could have done this. And I say, yes, that would have been great. How often are you talking to a supervisor in a one-on-one meeting and you're getting praise for doing something right?
Well, I don't know how to tell you this. This is going to kill you anymore. It's all being done by AI now.
Well, you know.
You get talked in circles, you get like customer help, you hit the help button and it's like a text kind of, it's that kind of a thing. And you type in, how could we help you? And you go around in circles. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. It's
of course
insincere. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that kind of lack of interpersonal human interaction? Oh, a butane stove. Oh, very clever, Linda. Oh, no, this was awesome. Let's do that. Butane stove.
I think you can have waffles just cold. Waffles, you could put butter on them, or peanut butter on them, or Nutella. Have you ever heard of chocolate, Helen?
There's a rumor.
There's a rumor. Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't camp, Humanity spent millennia trying to get inside the house. Now everybody wants to sleep outside. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm prepared for any kind of a power failure. I have the single most important, crucial object in case of a fire. In case of a power failure. I got a fire, like a wood stove top, espresso maker. I'm set. I'm ready.
Yes. So you would ask me, how do I deal with that lack of interpersonal relationship? Are you talking specifically AI or just in people in general?
Well, specifically, I see it in AI because you don't really talk to humans anymore. Like, for example, they neglected to deliver our newspaper a couple of days last week. And when I finally went to call and complain, because I want the paper, they'll give you credit if you call and leave a message on the machine. But I want the newspaper because I do the crossword puzzle and I cut out articles. I know I'm living in the past.
Do you do the crossword puzzle in ink or pencil?
Ink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of them.
Please. Doesn't mean I don't write over to correct, but yes, I do.
Different color inks.
Yeah. So you call and you get a recording and it's all, if such and such, press 2, if whatever, press 3. It's very frustrating. And I remember when you would actually talk to a human being.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah, and I still do on occasion. When I have called into places, yes, I understand that.
What, do you lie so that they have to give you to a human being because there's no more buttons to push?
No, no, I don't lie. What I will tell you, one of the things that I do is I will oftentimes at a store wait in line to work with the cashier. And I'm talking to the person. I'm making eye contact with them. I specifically go out of my way to say hi to that person and acknowledge them.
I think that's wonderful. I think we're losing that ability, but
And
you're
so
rare.
I do it often.
So, so here's the answer. She's eating it cold. Oh God.
Made mac and cheese earlier. Have to survive with
No way to cook. No heat in your bus. If Texas grid goes down, Ted Cruz has already skipped out. Are you serious? He didn't learn from the first time? Remember a couple of years ago when they had that horrible snow and cold snap and he took off to Mexico?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's people who do not like AI customer service. I'm not always a fan to it. However, I am always nice to it.
For a long time, I didn't know it was AI. I'm always polite because, oh, thank you for your help, and then one day I realized, oh my God, I'm thanking a machine.
Well, and so I saw somebody actually talk about why do you need to be nice to AI? It's because AI, it's like doing an improv, a comedy routine. And so I think about that and I'm like going, I'm just going to be nice. First of all, it is in my nature. This is how my parents raised me.
That's the thing. Yeah.
You're
waiting for Jesus to smite you dead if you're not polite. I know.
And so I think, it's just, and yeah, I just try to be nice because that's part of my processing energy. It's my processing is if I, before I get on the phone, if I have an issue with a customer service thing, before I pick up the phone, I slow down enough to figure out what it is that's going on and what outcome I want. Because I've worked customer service. I've worked call centers. I worked a call center at the library. And so I know it doesn't help to yell at the person on the other end of the line. It's not.
No.
They are the ones who have they did not sneak into my house and do this. It's not their fault.
I think it's normal human reaction though when you call up and you get this circular hell of push this button, push that button. When you finally get a human being, you've just got all this pent up rage. So Linda was saying that she's doing where did that go? I can't see this. That she was doing a truck, I think she said. Oh, now I don't even know what I've done now here. Oh, here we go. Building a truck with a wood stove. Linda, do you watch those videos on YouTube about people who live in their van or they live in their bus or it's really kind of fascinating, or I really feel sorry for people who live in their cars.
Yeah. Tapioca Thievery said, I'd rather practice being nice than practice being mean. And the more you can help the person helping you, the better everything goes.
No, that's so nice.
Yeah. I actually had that happen last week. I had some stuff that I needed to call. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting this to take forever, so I had written my notes and I tried to go online because I do like to be able to go online and do it myself, but I knew I needed help. So I called the toll-free number and I got the message that said, the next representative will be with you in 27, and I went, oh geez, seconds. And she beat it by like 15 seconds. And I was just like going, thank you very much. Here's what's going on. And I realized that I'm talking too fast. So I said, I'm going to pause and take a breath because I know I'm talking fast. And, you know, and I'm laughing. And then what happened was, is like when she's like, when I can connect you to somebody who can help you do that right now. Do you want me to do that? And I went, oh, please. Thank you. That would be great. And so
they're probably so grateful that you're polite.
Oh, well, of course. Of course. And what was great was the other one is, you know, your representative will be with you in 47 seconds.
That's pretty good.
And it was really good. And it was CJ. I still remember his name.
Your old friends.
Well, and I was explaining what was going on, and CJ says, "Oh yes, I you know, Charlene told me that, and so here's what we're going to do. What would you like to do with this?" And I went, "Oh, thank you. I'd like to get
shocking. Yeah, that really is shocking."
And see, and that's where part of my processing is I need to get all of this stuff in order. I need to calm this down so that I can actually go, when somebody says, what do you need me to do? I can go, what I really need is this.
Yeah, well, you're very logical about it, which is good. You're able to separate the emotion and the logic, and that's what it takes. You have to take the emotion out of it, which is very difficult. I think it's especially difficult when you start out not realizing there's going to be a problem, and then you get this obstacle that you're completely not prepared for. That's when it's really hard.
And the other thing is if you're nice to people on the other end of the line, and let me rephrase that. When you're authentic with people on the other end of the line, they're more likely to want to help you.
Yeah, that's true. I will say this one thing. When you call to get your paper cleared up and you finally actually get a human being, it's a call center on the other end of the earth. Mm-hmm. And they have a flow chart, like a script.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And they're not allowed to deviate from it.
Correct.
Which is just maddening. So you're not really having a conversation. But at the end, they always try to sell you the notion of getting rid of the newspaper and doing online digital paper.
Yeah.
And this happens so often because we have so much trouble with our delivery that I hang up, and I feel really badly about it, but you can't get off the line because it's the hard sell. So people are talking here about building like a truck, turning it into an RV with a wood stove. I'm curious, how do you do that without carbon monoxide?
I think you have to have really good flow and exhaust systems. So.
There's some appeal. I like to watch the videos about people who, and I don't personally want to live in the wilderness, but it's interesting to me to watch people go out into the middle of nowhere, build like a little house. They cut the trees down. They just do it right there. At least I assume it's real. And then they kind of exist inside these things. I often wonder, what are they doing? They're just sitting there admiring their handiwork. It looks like they didn't bring a book. They don't have headphones to listen to something. I mean, what are they doing with themselves while they're there?
I'm not there because that's not my idea of fun.
No, mine either. I'm fascinated with the process of how do you go about creating this space. I don't want to live in it. I don't want to be there. Yeah. But it's just really interesting to me because first of all, they're hiking into the middle of nowhere, and then they're all by themselves. And oftentimes, usually it's thigh deep snow, and they're either digging a dugout hole and making an underground place to live, or they're cutting trees and making like a little wooden shack type situation. But it's fascinating how they make tables and shelves and stuff. I would never, if it were up to me, we'd be sitting on the ground outside.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, no.
My butt can't handle that. Nor can my knees in getting up, but that's
I know there's multiple reasons.
It's just me. So
I had to add a message at the beginning, people to be professional, but to the students. Oh, is that what that means?
Oh yeah, there was they worked a help desk at a higher ed. Some of the ways people talk to our students and full-time workers is shocking.
Here, let me put this out there. There, yeah. That's what I'm sorry. I'm not good at this yet.
That's all right. You're doing great.
Yeah, I think people don't know any better. I really think.
Well, and I think one of the things that has been challenging is when you're not in front of someone. You don't.
It's easy to depersonalize.
To depersonalize it, and I have to say, I think I was very good on the library call center.
You have a lot of patience. I think it takes a particular kind of personality to deal with that.
Yes. Thank you.
I really like people and I like talking with people, but stupidity drives me nuts. And when a long time ago, I worked at McDonald's, and the thing that was the most egregious about working at McDonald's, and it drove me crazy, sometimes 8 hours a day, over and over, whole time I was there, it was the person that came up to the counter and said, "I'll have a Big Mac." And I actually sometimes said, "Well, if you say please." I just couldn't take it. "Give me this," or you'd say, "Can I help you?" And they'd say, "Yeah, I wanna."
Yeah. One thing that I will sometimes, and this is just me, and part of it is I want to lighten the energy around, especially when I've seen people and the behavior others have had. Is part of me is as I say, I need this and this and this, and then I stop and I go, "I'm sorry, please, may I have this?" And I'm like, because my mother would slap me upside the head. And, invariably that gets a chuckle, and it's because I that's how I was raised. Please and thank you.
That's how I was raised too. And in fact, when my children were little, I never handed them something and had them not react when I didn't say, "What do you say?"
Yeah.
Ever, because like that consistency thing. And they grew up to be polite. I mean, they're polite to be around. And I know they're older now, they're adults, but there are a lot of really rude adults. It's just remarkable.
Well, and I think it's one of those things. I like the idea of being willing to, I like to be the exception of the rule. I'm going to be nice to people.
Well, how sad is that? That's the exception to the rule.
Well, yeah, because that's how I'm going to be.
Here we go. Here's my answer. I guess I should say, duh. I had to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Hold on, girls and boys.
Be nasty with honey. Oh, no.
There, you get carbon monoxide detector. Remember I said, what about carbon monoxide poisoning? You get a detector. Duh. Be nasty with honey. Well, I used to hear you attract more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Heard that.
Except vinegar wasn't always the comparison item.
Whatever could you mean, Helen?
Nothing. So how are we doing here? Do you have to run?
No, I've got about 15 minutes.
Oh, good. Well, I have the whole day. I have no life.
What are you reading for the next shows?
Like book?
Yeah.
Well, I'm finishing this Jacques Vallée book about the theory of UFOs. It's called The Invisible College. The Invisible College is a reference to this sort of secret group of loosely affiliated scientists and national intelligence and political people that they all knew each other, but they tried to keep their association on the down low. And they were researching the way that Jacques Vallée is researching, that there's more to this than meets the eyes, basically. Plus, I'm doing trying to get this out here. I'm doing a Psychics and Psychos with Denise soon. We had it scheduled and something came up. We're doing Charlie Manson next. This was her idea. I didn't want to do it because he's just so crazy, you know. So I would recommend this book, Chaos.
Okay.
So this is Charles Manson, but in relationship to the CIA. He was involved wittingly, unwittingly. There's opinions, right? Either way. When he was in Haight-Ashbury, he went to the free clinic in Haight-Ashbury, and all of the patients at the clinic, without their knowledge, were being used as guinea pigs for CIA-associated study on the effects of LSD. The guy that was running the clinic, who was running the clinic / Charlie's parole officer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So that's just an interesting book.
I love that.
And I'm trying to think of what. I've got another one that I'm just about finished preparing. I have about 30 pages left. Takes a while to take notes, you know. And it will come after the Jacques Vallée book. It's called The Presidents and the People. It's by Professor Corey Brettschneider, who teaches at Brown University. He's an expert. He's a constitutional scholar. And it's about the 5 presidents that almost destroyed democracy and how a coalition of people, not judges, not lawmakers, people were able to prevent it, and how Nixon was the final one, and how they were not able to fix it properly. And that's why we're in the mess we're in today. Very interesting. And John Adams was a terrible president. Terrible. He was all about, he wanted to be a monarch. He wanted all the people in the cabinet and Congress to have like royal titles. He wanted the president to be called Your Highness. and he believed in that executive, what's it called? Universal executive authority, you know, where they were like a god king.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Wow.
What, are you reading something right now?
I am. I have Deborah Zachow coming on my channel on Monday. Her new book is called I Have Your Number.
Oh.
And this is so I really enjoyed Deborah. She's written several books, including the Clarity Tarot. And so she's written a Decode Tarot, which is a lovely book. A lovely book. So I'm reading this so that I can feel like I'm having an intelligent
conversation. Well, you know what I've had people tell me? This, I just find this really astounding. I've had authors tell me, "Oh, you read the book." You know, I invite them to come talk, and they're like, "Wait, you read the book?" They say they get on TV interviews and radio interviews all the time, and the person that's speaking with them about their book hasn't read their book. I'm speechless, you know.
That's one way to do it.
I don't know how you could engage in a conversation if you don't know what the book is about. That seems weird to me.
like I said, that's one way to do it. It's not the way I like to do it.
I think my guess is that if you're like, I don't know the name of any famous like talking heads on television shows, but if you're sitting behind the desk, you know, that semicircular desk with 2 or 3 people, and you're going through a pretty rigorous schedule of what you're going to talk about. And okay, for the next 5 minutes, we've got this author on. You're not going to read the book. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. It is unfortunate.
Well, I don't have anything else exciting to tell you about, Gerald. It's been a very cold, very wet, gray all the time. Finally, now it's starting to get steady light in the evenings past 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we were having darkness in the morning until almost 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And getting dark in the afternoon by 4. I mean, come on. It's crazy. So now things are feeling a little better. So how about you guys?
That's good. We're supposed to be getting snow here.
Oh.
So there's predicting, you know, anywhere from 5 to 15 inches of snow. So it'll probably be about 4 inches. But and it's like, okay, you know.
So does everything come to a crashing halt when you have snow, or
it certainly slows down? Yes, it certainly slows down.
Because, you know, I grew up in Southern California, and it barely ever rained. That song was right. Never rains in California. That song was really quite correct. When it did rain, it was a gigantic big deal. Schools closed, offices closed. You know, we had what they called the rainy day schedule at school. It was a big deal. And partly because it would rain torrentially when it did rain. The ground couldn't absorb it all. So you'd get these intersections that were flooded. And then the roads were very slick because you went for 11 and a half months with no rain, and all that oil built up on the roads.
Yes.
So it really did become like ice and snow. It was treacherous.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have a request from David. Can we see the knitting progress?
Oh, from Scotland. Very nice. Well, I haven't made a huge progress. It's a hat eventually, but I'll show you. You missed this.
Yeah, I've probably knit from about here to here. So
this is a poncho I'm making for my granddaughter.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
What part of Scotland? Tell us quickly what part of Scotland you're from. 12 inches of snow. Awesomeness. Where do you live? Siberia? God, that's hard to live with. Whereabouts are you from, David, in Scotland? Oh, well.
Well, give him a...
Awesomeness is from Canada. I thought it was David. I was like, well, Canada, Scotland, huh? Oh, you're in Canada. Well, mea culpa for all the insults and weirdness.
Yeah.
Glasgow, that's where they have the big festival every year, right? They have like a comedy art festival. I forget what it's called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, what's it called? I bet he knows. Glasgow. I've always wanted to go to Scotland. You know, the red hair is much more common in Scotland than it is in Ireland. I know you know this, Dave. And it's because of proximity to the Norsemen. The Norsemen brought the red hair down from Scandinavia, and they pillaged all along the coastline. And there were more of them in Scotland than there were in Ireland. There are enough in Ireland. Oh, thank you, Linda. Lord help you.
Are you
Is this
fringe?
Pardon me?
Fringe. Tapioca Thievery said fringe.
It will have, yeah, after I sew it together. I've got to sew it together. I got to get to work on it. Lots of festivals. There's some kind of a comedy festival. It's really famous. I wish I could remember what it was called in Glasgow every year, because somebody, a comedian I liked, talked about being there. MAGA Country Awesomeness. I thought you said you were from Canada. So are you from like Alberta or?
Lots of festivals. I don't know. That's a good question.
Fringe. Oh, Fringe. Of course. That's what it's called, the Fringe Festival. That's hilarious. I thought you were asking about the poncho. 0.7% Scottish. It's interesting. One of my daughters had her DNA done. And I said, listen, when you get the results back, I'm going to tell you what they're going to be. And I was almost 100% right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My husband has a lot more Irish blood than he realized. You know, he thinks he's German and English, but he actually had quite a bit of Irish blood. And I told her that from me, you're going to get a hugely high percentage of Irish blood, but you're going to get a little Scandinavian because, you know, that's just the history of the country, right? And sure enough, not only did it come back exactly that, but of the Irish blood that she had, it was all from the same neighborhood. They can tell you like what part of the country your ancestors were from. And I laughed. I told her, well, I'm not surprised my grandparents grew up next door to each other. I'm really not too surprised, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, my girls are, you know, they all think they're comedians. And so my daughter, we have a family thread, and she posted her DNA results. And immediately, within about 3 minutes, the other 4 all replied, and they all said exactly the same thing. It was pretty funny because they weren't reading each other's message. They all came in at the same time. They all said, oh my God, we are so white. And it's pretty funny because, yeah, that's where our background is from.
Yeah.
Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. Oh, not in Canada.
Mm.
Oh, you have the same background as he has. Ireland took her to the places the diners on. Oh, how nice! What part of Ireland is your family from? Tapioca. I feel so funny calling somebody tapioca, but
well, Tapioca Thievery, they love both of those words, and they want it to be like their band name.
Well, tapioca thievery is a very rare event because who in their right mind would steal tapioca? So unique. Would you really? Oh God!
Yeah, I'm one of those. I like tapioca.
Oh God!
Look at her, Judgy McJudgerson.
Yeah, my grandmother was really into tapioca.
So
Connaught and Mayo. Okay, that's not where my family is from at all. But you know, 30% of our all over the place. Exactly. That's exactly right. I have relatives everywhere.
Yeah.
Tapioca, yum.
Okay. So when is your next video coming out, Helen?
Well, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Wait, I don't know. Is it? What day is this? Oh no, I actually put out a couple of different videos today.
Yeah, you had there were lots of stuff that popped up.
Yeah, because you know, I've got this tortured situation going on. So I started a membership, and I started a membership at the urging of somebody who shall remain nameless, that we all know and love. And not you.
Nate.
And, yeah.
I threw you under the bus, Nate.
I'm not a good businesswoman, and he was putting a lot of pressure on me. So I said, oh, okay. So I did it because I was hoping to have a safe place to put things that I didn't want to be hounded by trolls. And it hasn't really worked out because I don't have very many members. And so these poor videos languish, with like 27 views, and it drives me nuts. So I'll put it behind the paywall. And after a few days, I can't stand it anymore. And so I'll put it out into the public. So I'm constantly shifting things around, and it looks like I'm making more things than I really am. I'm just moving them, So what can I do? I just put out a video on Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. So anybody who's watching who's Canadian, you'll be interested in this. He made an epic historical speech at the World Economic Forum 2 days ago. It's a speech that will go down in history. It was a paradigm shifting speech. Incredible, really incredible. So I did a little thing on that.
Nice.
I've been trying to cover Canadian news and Mexican news.
Okay.
Because I think it's wrong that we pretend that our neighbors don't exist.
Correct.
Oh, from Holland. So it must be alien. That's right.
Well, Tapioca Thievery is, I believe, one of your members.
Oh, well, I'm touched.
That's why they are green.
I don't know how to read any of the symbology, that has to do with YouTube. I don't know what anything means, and I'm sort of aggressively ignorant because it just makes my third eye hurt. I can't handle it. So I don't know who members are or who members are not. Thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. I may not know everybody by name, but I appreciate the existence of the people who do join. Yeah, I take it as an indication of who's really and truly interested in the topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of depressing. Okay. You're a Carney girl. Well, if you haven't heard that speech, it would be well worth going and listening to him deliver it, because it was remarkable. And then right on the heels of that, we had whatever that thing was that Trump delivered. It's screed. I think the term is screed. In which he also belittled and said nasty things about Carney on the international stage. Yeah, I know. It's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Why some psychics are learning Spanish? Oh, what do they know? No say.
Well, this is a prime example of being nice to people and being respectful is a great form of rebellion. There, I said it. Go be nice to people, everybody.
Yeah, and I don't think people fully. I don't think people born in the United States from somebody who's not an immigrant. So like if you're third, fourth, fifth generation, I don't think people fully comprehend how difficult it is to be an immigrant. And it doesn't matter if you come from an English speaking country, like let's say you're Australian and you come here, they kind of speak English. No offense. They're adapting to a brand new culture.
Scary,
and trying to make friends, renting a house is different in one country from another. The whole process is different. Getting a TV in Ireland, you don't just go out and buy a TV. You have to get a license to have a TV.
Yeah,
I'm not making that up.
No.
So there are all these weird rules and regulations and customs and different kind of food and maybe a language barrier, maybe not. But adjusting to life in a new country is so, so, so hard. And then you're homesick and you miss your family. And, I wish that there were more compassion for people. My daughter, my oldest daughter, has 2 children, and they live in a place where it's very, very, very multicultural. And she's almost the only Caucasian child in her class. And she has bright red hair, so it's pretty cool. But all of these kids that are in her class, they have to interpret for their parents. Their parents are from all over the world. And more than happy to learn English. There's no place to learn it because all the English as a second language classes are either gone or full or too expensive.
Yes.
And it's so hard because they have a 9-year-old that they're trying to get to do their business for them because they don't speak. It's very difficult struggle. I have enormous compassion for people. No matter where you land, no matter what country you come from and go to, it's really difficult.
Yes.
11 years old from El Salvador, no running water. Can you imagine?
No.
Your mother was an immigrant who spoke German during World War II. Was she a war bride? Because they had a terrible time. The young women who married GIs because of the animosity, towards Germany. Yeah. I was just reading about that. It's really hard. And my mother never fully got over immigrating. She always called Ireland home.
Sure.
And by that I mean she'd say, well, he went back home, meaning he went back to Ireland. Yeah. And she missed her family. It was very hard. And that was a time period where we didn't have the internet, and to make an international phone call was this big, gigantic ordeal.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Still an alien. Never. Isn't that interesting that you can move from state to state and it's a whole different subculture?
Oh, yeah. It's so true.
Now you're in Ohio. Don't say where I am. You're in Ohio. I have a preconceived notion of Ohio. I've been to Akron.
Akron, yes.
I drove through Akron when I was, 9? We went on a car trip. You know what I remember of Akron?
Nothing.
No, I do remember something. I remember driving in, and there was a big sign shaped like a gigantic tire that said, "Welcome to Akron."
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's all I remember.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so sad, Tapu. Oh, my God.
My husband has always been the translator. At 19, he had to tell his father that he had cancer because they did not have interpreters at the time.
It's so hard.
It's awful.
Yeah, there's actually a term for that. You get parentified. Children are, given adult roles, and it's unavoidable. It's really hard. Oh, you were a child in Canada? Awesomeness. So your childhood was in Canada? I like Canada. The people in Canada are really polite. And they tend to, really. They tend to say, "I'm sorry," quite a lot. And I had the funniest comment a couple of weeks ago. Like I said, I've been trying to cover Canadian politics fairly regularly, once a month, roughly. And I did a video, and somebody commented and said, because I was apologizing, I was like, I can't look a Canadian in the eye these days, I'm so sorry. So I started out my video by saying how sorry I was. And this Canadian commented, "Well, you must be part Canadian."
There you go. There you go.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Gerald, I think we've exhausted our gossip and our...
Well, and I am starting my decrease rounds. So
and you're counting. Yeah.
I was, but I put markers in.
Oh, that's good. I'm terrible. I can't do 2 things at the same time. When you're talking, I can knit. When I'm talking, I can't knit.
Well, yeah, okay. Then don't.
We'd love to see more of Canada. Canada's beautiful. really beautiful. Depends on the time of year. If you don't
Well,
mind
of course.
ice.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, I so appreciate everybody who joined us. It was really nice. Thank you for sitting with us and listening to our silliness.
And you survived alive.
Well, I don't think I did it justice. I tried,
You were
but
fine.
well, we'll get more experience at it. It'll be better.
So,
Yeah.
and so we will be scheduling another time for us to get together.
Yeah. And I just wanted to thank everybody for contributing, joining us. We appreciate it. Let us know what you're working on next time.
Yes.
We want to know. Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, Gerald, do you have a plan for when you're done with this hat?
Yes, I have enough yarn to probably knit 2 or 3 more. So I'm just going to knit and knit and knit and knit and knit because it just makes me happy.
Are you familiar with the book The Outlander?
I'm familiar with it, yes.
Okay, they made a show out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they did the show, they have a lot of hand knit costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I got the book.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I'll show it to you next time. I got to dig it out. It has beautiful things in it. And it actually has a sweater in it, a cardigan that I really liked. And I don't often like patterns, they're a little overwrought, but this was a really nice pattern. And I started to knit it, and you know how it is, I set it aside and I lost the paper and I didn't know where I was. So I have one panel of the front done and then something else. I'm not quite sure what it is. And now it's too small and I have to rip it apart and start over. So that might be my next project, is unraveling the part sweater, because it's good yarn. I mean, I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're the right person to ask. If you do that and you've used the yarn to knit something and you undo it and you want to use that yarn again, can you just use it or do you have to do something to it?
I am a person who I'm going to take the easiest route. You could just use it.
Okay.
There are other people who would, they would put it into a hank and then they would get it wet and then they would hang it from the hank so it stretches. And I'm like, no.
To get the kinks out. Do the kinks make it bulkier when you knit?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Well, you solved my problem.
So, yeah.
Oh, Sharon, I hope you liked the show I made. I editorialized quite a bit. I tried to summarize his speech and explain what I thought he meant, and then I gave you my opinion because that's what I get to do. Yeah.
Perfect.
Listen to the radio, more knitting on the Outlander set. You were on that set, huh?
Wow. Okay.
Oh, you were in the show. Oh my God. That's so weird, because when I was talking about the beautiful costumes, I was thinking about her visit to the alchemist. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so weird. She was like a doctor or a nurse or something in modern times. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Now we're really going to go. We'll see you again next time. Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you. Thank you.
Long foil, everybody. Sláinte.
Bye.